Hey everybody, I'm Shannon Cake from WPTV NewsChannel 5. Thanks so much for jumping on with us here in this platform this afternoon. So good to have you back. We did a quick hit this morning and we've been having all day coverage of our Wounded Veteran Relief Fund Telethon. We hope you've been seeing our coverage and we have more to come tonight on both on WPTV NewsChannel 5 and right here on Facebook as well. So thanks so much for jumping on. We're having this conversation about this incredible grassroots nonprofit started right here in South Florida. This is an organization, the Wounded Veterans Relief Fund, that literally steps in and lifts up our most vulnerable veterans in their greatest time of need. It's just an incredible organization, now spans the state and takes care of veterans all across the Sunshine State. I want to bring in right now, before we go any further, my privilege to introduce my co-host at this event and beyond, always my wingman, the incredible Brian Edwards with United Way of Palm Beach County. Thanks so much for joining us, Brian. I want to add as well, you are also a Marine Corps vet. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Shannon. And it is always good to be your wingman. I love it. And I also want to just start by saying I got some important information to provide to our viewers, those participating in Facebook Live. But I want to take this opportunity to once again say thank you, Shannon Cake. Thank you for all your years of service to United, to the
Wounded Veterans, yes.
Wounded Veterans Relief Fund. I almost said where I work, United Way.
Well, United Way of Palm Beach County, you have a servant's heart and you are into every charity in the area, but we're really lucky to have you here at Wounded Veterans Relief Fund at the helm.
Thank you.
And our
I almost slipped out, so thank you for all that you do. I appreciate it. Some of the information I want to send out to everybody is, ladies and gentlemen, the phone lines are open until 8 p.m. The telethon call number is 561-273-1144. You're going to see that streaming on the screen throughout the Facebook Live here. And also you'll see the WPTV.com/wounded vets for the telethon. You can also text a veteran to code 72727. That is veteran code 72727. And ladies and gentlemen, Shannon, as you know, we have a goal of $300,000. We're trying to match our annual gala, as you know, from serving as MC for years. And the good news is we have a $50,000 anonymous donor that has put up a match. So we're grateful for that. But we need to talk a little bit about where we are right now.
Yes. So we've had a great day so far. We are at 17,500, and we really want to close in on that anonymous donor match of 50,000. $300,000 is our goal for the day, and that is what we're striving for. We do know this is a really tough time for a lot of people, and we certainly understand that. That's what we normally raise in our normal non-COVID setting at the gala, and that's what we need to do to prop up these vets that have done so much for us. So $50,000 is this anonymous donor match that is coming in. If we can hit $50,000 in this stretch before we close the phone banks tonight at 8 o'clock, this anonymous donor is giving the organization $50,000. So we are going for that right now. We're doing it.
We are. We're going to put everything into it. The audience is getting ready to hear some of the great news. I know you're getting ready to introduce one of your colleagues, but I just want to say one more thing. We need our audience to step up. We need to do everything we can to make this match and beyond. So we're looking forward to sharing great information and hopefully getting everyone to step up, call into the telethon, and make that donation. It's the holidays, and we're making a difference in veterans' lives.
That's right. No amount is too small. Right now, we're all working toward the same goal. Well, we want to give you a little bit of background if you aren't familiar with the incredible work that Wounded Veterans Relief Fund does in our community and beyond throughout the state of Florida. My colleague, Natalie Newman, who's the producer of this event and the pieces you'll be seeing on News Channel 5 this evening, she's been working tirelessly on this event. And she put together some best of clips, if you will, after meeting some of the veterans throughout the last 2 weeks. Take a look at what she put together. It's great.
2004, we were cave hunting for Osama bin Laden. We were running the border between Afghanistan and Pakistan, clearing caves and blowing them up.
There's so many different unique aspects to getting out of the military and trying to transition into civilian life that it's very, very difficult for most veterans.
But to accept help, you have to admit that you failed. I had to get past that and realize I didn't fail. I just needed my battle buddy to help pick me up and that way I could dust myself off and keep going.
One of the things that I think is very, very important is that with all of these veterans that come to us, that we help them. They have earned the right for us to help them.
She said, well, what bills do you have? And I said, I'm very minimal of bills. I said, I just have rent and utilities. She said, send them to me. Let me see what we can do. And next thing I know, they were paid.
Had no transportation. I was staying in a hotel. I was getting buses back and forth. It was just a nightmare. I have 2 jobs and I'm able to be independent now because of the Wounded Veterans Program. The vehicle provided me with an opportunity to have a second job.
Every dollar is extremely crucial to what we work toward. It could just be a tank of gas to you, but it could mean keeping the lights on for a veteran, and something like that makes such a huge impact.
I'm living proof of this program benefiting someone right in your city.
This organization, it gives people like me hope that we're not stuck. We can move forward.
What this organization does. You heard from some of the veterans that this Wounded Veterans Relief Fund organization has helped and blessed. 86% of every dollar that comes in goes right back out to these veterans in need. And it's so important to point that out at this time of year where times are tight, the times are tough, Brian, but every dollar coming in goes back out to these veterans. Why don't you introduce us to Mike Durkee? Bring him in, Brian.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure to once again introduce the Executive Director of the Wounded Veterans Relief Fund, Mike Durkee, who's a combat seasoned veteran, helicopter pilot. Mike, tell us a little bit more about your organization and what you do.
Okay, so actually I have an incredible story to tell you what happened today. We had one of our volunteers, actually one of our board members, was on the phone collecting a donation from a veteran, and he was a Vietnam veteran, 70% disabled, and he said, I heard your story about the dental program, and is there a way that I could get some dental help? And immediately I called the dental office and spoke with the wonderful person there, and we already got them a slot in December 17th. So he's going to see the dentist. So that's how quick today it happened, and it's wonderful. And he could not believe that. So,
Mike, that's insane, and that is exactly the kind of stories I'm used to hearing. Not only do veterans get served, but you and your team goes out of the way to make it happen. Tell us how important these donations are, and then I think Shannon and I are turning it over to you actually, so you can share another story as well from your team.
So right, so these are life-saving donations. These are very impactful donations that, you're going to lift a veteran out of that tremendous hole, of anxiety, stress, not knowing what to do next. And, these heroes carried the weight of our nation and protected all of us. And, and knowing that through these donations and through the help and our mission, they know that the community and our nation has their back when they get back home. And that's huge.
Mike, talk a little bit about, before we move on in the program, I want to hear a little bit about, we chatted about this last night, the transition to civilian life. Right. That is a tough road that's somewhat unexpected, and no surprise that sometimes people need a little help from us.
100%. And a lot of people don't know exactly how tough the transition is. you know, when you go into basic training, it's a couple, you know, it's like nine weeks of basic training. That's how it was for us in the Army. I don't know how it is in the Marine Corps, but anyway, so 9 weeks of basic training, and then you go and you do your advanced individual training, and that could take over a year, depending on what your military occupational specialty is. Mm-hmm. And so you do all this training to become, you know, a soldier, a Marine, an airman, and but when you get out of the military, you get a crash course on how to become a civilian again. And what I could say is that when I was in the classroom getting out of the military, we had the financial guy come up and he was talking about the transition. He says, well, in order to have a successful or, you know, easier transition, you need to have at least $50,000, $60,000 saved up in your bank. And I got to tell you, everybody's jaw dropped, you know, just like yours.
Yeah.
Everybody's jaw dropped, and they're like, "Excuse me," and it's tough, you know. Another thing too is you take off that uniform that you've worn all these years serving our country, and then that's your identity. You know, you're here to protect the world and our nation, and then you take that off and you lose your identity, and you know, depression sets in. Then you're also dealing with, you know, trying to get, you know, help through the VA, trying to figure that out. And I'm telling you, the VA does an amazing thing, you know. Now we work with all the social workers, you know, at the VA, and we have a wonderful relationship. But what I'm saying is that there's just so much going through. You don't have healthcare anymore. You don't have big army or big military backing you anymore. You're basically all alone, and you're trying to take care of yourself, and you're trying to take care of your family, and it can be very, very overwhelming. And then you're trying to figure out, what is your purpose now out of the military? What's your purpose? And it takes our veterans a long time, sometimes a long time, to figure that out.
And Mike, so you literally step in with the checkbook when that vet calls and they're standing at CVS and they can't pay for their meds, or their lights have been turned off, or their car just went down. You're the one with the checkbook and answering that call, and you go out sometime in the middle of the night. Yeah. And I know it's the people you can't help that haunt you, because we talked about that. So this is just such an important day. And
well, it is. And the thing too is that, you know, a lot of times a lot of things happen in life to all of us, you know, and you always wish that you have enough saved up and to take care of emergencies or have insurance. And you know, there was a long time where even I didn't have insurance for my family, you know. Now I do, but there was a gap where I didn't. And it can be devastating. If something medically would have happened, I probably would have been on the street too. So I know what our veterans are dealing with, and that's why, you know, I work every day. Every day, my phone is on for veterans on the weekends. And, you know, my wife says, you know, you got to shut that phone off every once in a while, but I keep it on. And the veterans, they call me up and they say, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm still speaking to the executive director. He still has time for me. And I'm sure, you know, and I always have time for you. That's the thing. I always have time for our veterans. So
our phone lines are open, 561-273-1144. You can also text the word veteran to 72727. As Brian mentioned, we have a goal of $300,000. Brian, tell us about the anonymous donor match real quick before we hand it back to Mike and let him get on his way.
Absolutely. And it's an important anonymous donation of $50,000, ladies and gentlemen. We need to meet that anonymous donors match, and you can do that by calling the number scrolling in front of you.
561-273-1144. Mike Durkee, you have a very special lady there in your Wounded Veteran Relief Fund headquarters. And I want you to take the stage now and take the microphone and introduce us to her, please.
Okay, just real quick, I just wanted to let you know that with our dental program, we have already saved 2 lives with our dental program, because you have to be 100% disabled in order to receive dental through the VA. Okay, so we've teamed up with a local dentist here who's given pro bono work to help out our veterans, and we've helped 2 veterans right now, and we literally saved their lives. One had cancer in her mouth, and they were able to detect it and take it out. So we do life-saving work, not just on the emergency financial side, but also on the dental side, and that's an amazing program that we have right now.
You've done that today, Mike, just since we went on the air with this all-day telethon.
Another veteran, yes. So let me get to my introduction to Alana Leone. She is an amazing Navy veteran. We are so proud to have her as our senior case manager. She's tough on me and she's tough on her vets, but she's got a huge heart, and again, she does amazing. So here's Alana, Navy veteran and senior case worker for Wounded Veterans Relief Fund.
Hey, thanks for bringing me on. So like you said, I was in the Navy. I joined the Navy the same year that my dad retired out of 20 years in the Navy. That was my goal. My goal was to go in until I retired. And it was a goal that I was very happy with, trying to accomplish. Unfortunately, the Navy had other plans for me. And during sequestration, which is when they start downsizing the military, I was just let go. I didn't want to leave the Navy. Like I said, my dad was in for 20 years. My was the same thing. So when I got out, I had no plan B, C, or D. I didn't really know what I wanted to do in college. I, didn't really have too much of a backup plan for what field I'd go into. I worked on sonar and radar systems on helicopters in the Navy, so that doesn't easily translate to a civilian job. I, eventually got my degree and I moved down here to Florida, and I moved down here to Florida with not much but what was in my vehicle. I actually ended up needing assistance through the organization to get myself set up. Like I said, we just came down here with what was in my vehicle, and it was kind of hard to adjust to a new life, trying to start over. So I was able to get assistance through the organization that I now very proudly work for. And I am so incredibly happy to be able to work in the community I know and I love, and that I can relate to. A lot of veterans, they understand that there is a lag between what the civilians understand and what they're trying to tell them. So I think working with someone who can truly relate to what you're saying and can empathize on a very personal level is incredibly important in this position. Although I'm not a combat veteran myself, I did deploy. I deployed with the Marines aboard the USS Nassau in 2010, and it was still such an incredible experience to be able to, go to different countries and experience this and come back. And female veterans are a very small percentage. Even though Florida is the 3rd largest state of veteran population in the country, Florida is the 2nd largest state in female veteran population in the country. So we have over 144,000 female veterans here in the state of Florida. And that is a lot of females. And so being able to, service this community and reach these female veterans for assistance is really crucial. A lot of the programs are only for combat veterans, and a small percentage of veterans are non-combat, and then look at females, we're even less of a percentage of non-combat veterans. So we're excluded from a lot of the programs that are out there. And so having a program where we don't get government funding, therefore we don't have the red tape where we have to tell you no right off the bat is so incredibly wonderful. We can look at you as a person with your situation as to what's going on in order to get you the help you absolutely need and deserve.
But we need those phones to ring. We need folks to dial in right now, 561-273-1144. What an awesome job you have, Alana. And I want to bring it back in Mike Durkee, because I think the two of you were going to banter back and forth here. But can you guys tell real quick about the story about I know that there was a veteran, and we're not naming names, but there was a veteran, a female, headed to South Florida right before the pandemic hit, had a job, 5 kids in her car, drove to Florida, not unlike you, Alana, sounds like a similar story, came here because of the pandemic, job went away. She's got 5 kids in her car. What did you guys do?
Right. So that was a tough one because she had secured housing and secured employment. And so, you know, she thought she was setting herself up for success. She knew she was coming for a better life for her and her kids. It was going to be great. And housing fell through. And then when housing fell through, that was obviously immediately the first shock, because where are her and her children going to sleep? And then after that, it's, well, we can't give you the hours that we originally promised you because we're cutting back. So then the next thing was, well, even if I can get into housing, what can I even afford now? You know, how am I supposed to continue to take care of my children? So immediately we got her into a hotel, just to get her and her children out of the vehicle. And then as soon as she was able to find a place, and she was hustling, she was moving real fast trying to find a place, we helped with first and last month's rent to get her into that house, so that she can at least have secure and stable housing for herself and her children. So all of this was within, I think it took about 3 to 4 weeks, just because it takes a while for the paperwork to go through to get a house and everything. But it was, you know, the help for the hotel was within that next day of her reaching out to us and getting the referral.
No red tape, Mike Durkee, right? That's it. No red tape.
Within 24 to 72 hours, once once their file is complete and approved, we're that quick to giving them, you know, the help that they need.
So this ball, this gala that we couldn't have because of COVID, the money that you raise at this gala, and if Brian can pop in too as we all chat here, this is critical. We need to do this in the next 4.5 hours to get the money you need. And Mike and Alana, you continue the conversation. I know you have some important stories to share with us in this segment, but we got to get these phones ringing, 561-273-1144, or you can text veteran to 72727. You're looking at Alana and Mike Durkee. These are the 2 people who receive your very generous donations, and they are incredible stewards of your money. They are getting out, literally calls in the middle of the night, driving out and getting these vets secure and in safe places and getting lights back on and the whole bit. Mike?
Well, I got to tell you, you know, Alana's, you know, a teen, which is really 2 right now. I just know that we've received calls from the VA with veterans in their offices, and it's late in the afternoon, and they're living out of their car, and we are trying. We know we work with the VA, the social worker. We're working with the veteran, and we're looking for hotels. And a lot of times, you know, we're here 6, 7, 8 o'clock. We will not go home until the veteran is off the streets, and that's what we do. That's what we do. Like, we're not going to go home. Veterans come first, you know, and because we do not want them to be living on the street.
And if we do not get this funding coming in today, Mike, how does that set you back as an organization? COVID's hit everybody really hard, charities as well. But if this money doesn't come in this year, how does it affect you?
Oh, it's gonna affect us greatly, especially into the holidays and into the first half of next year. I mean, we need these funds now. It's you know, not only did it cancel our you know, our big ball, but it really affected so many of our fundraising events throughout the year. About 90% of our events have been canceled, and then the few that we did have, we only had a few people there, and so it wasn't 100% like we would normally have. So the funding right now that we could get from the viewers right now, your money is going to save a life and help a veteran in need. Get them off the streets, get them secure. It's going to help them with their life going forward. A lot of times that's all they need is just that little bit of money to get them through their emergency. And then off they go, and they're off to the races, and they're doing so much better. We have so many veterans that said, hey, if it wasn't for that little intervention, that little bit of help from the Wounded Veterans Relief Fund, I don't know where I'd be right now, you know, and that's it gets me every time. It really does. So please donate. Please donate.
No donation too small. We understand it's a tough time of year. Brian Edwards, you want to take us to the phone lines real quick and remind everybody where they can jump in and help out this great organization?
561-273-1144 or text veteran to 72727. Ladies and gentlemen, you got until 8 o'clock. It's up on your screen. And Shannon, I know we're doing an introduction from Alana, so I don't know if you want to turn it over to Alana, and then I'll break down some other giving opportunities.
Love it. Alana, you take it away.
Sounds good. All right. So like I said, as a female veteran, that is where my heart and biases lie towards. So we planned kind of a special giveaway today, working with all the social workers throughout the entire state of Florida. I am able to reach out to them when, you know, when they are able to reach out to me when they have veterans in need, and we maintain really good relationships. A lot of these peer support specialists and social workers are veterans themselves. So, you know, having that professional relationship where we can just kind of keep it going as far as questions for veterans is really great. So today I actually have a female veteran with me. She is, guys, so this is Takia. She's a Army veteran, and I'm gonna let her tell us a little bit about herself.
Hi, Alana. How are you?
Hey, doing well.
Okay. My name is Takia. I was a 92 Alpha, a logistics specialist in the Army. I ended up getting out of the Army around 2010. I'm a mother of 3 boys. Now for work, I work for an endocrinologist as a medical assistant.
From what you told me, you said you were in an infantry unit in the Army, correct?
Yes.
All right. So can you tell me a little bit about how it was being a female in the infantry unit?
It was really tough working around, men all day, Not a lot of times they understand, how a woman feels. Um, so a lot of times it was hard, very emotional at times,
Mhm.
because I don't think they take in consideration that we still are women. So they think you're one of the guys. So a lot of times, I felt like I didn't have, anyone to talk to. So I used to call home a lot to my mom. Um, it was pretty tough. It was it was pretty tough. But overall, I did enjoy it. I did get out after I came back from Iraq.
Okay. So I know one of the biggest issues a lot of the female veterans face specifically, but veterans as a whole deal with is, they try to classify PTSD for a lot of just combat veterans, but
Mhm.
there's a lot of females that deal with the sexual harassment. There's males that deal with sexual harassment, especially being in units and in a climate where it's male dominated. So, do you have any friends, any other female veterans that you know that have dealt with these issues?
Not so much of friends, but the handful of women that I did work with, was maybe like 3, um, they did have a lot of issues with, sexual harassment. Thank God I wasn't one of them, but they had a lot of issues with sexual harassment, going to higher chain of command and felt like nothing was being done. So that is kind of tough, and it's very emotional, and it can damage you it can damage you as well as a person.
Mhm. Right. So, I mean, I know a lot of female veterans have troubles, or it's just the same thing. It's a sense of pride for reaching out for assistance. And we know that reaching out for help is very hard. It's never something that you want to do because you think that you should be able to handle it first and foremost as a veteran. Second, as a mom raising your kids, you think I have to be able to do this. I
Right.
have this because if I don't have this and if I can't take care of my kids, then who can help? But
Right.
there's times when you need a face that you absolutely do need help. and there's going to be organizations to help you. Okay. And this is why we brought you on here. So let me go ahead. I'm going to reach for something real quick. Sorry, guys.
Oh gosh.
So we brought you on because we know that it's very hard to ask for help. It's a very prideful moment for you. So we want to go ahead and let you know that instead of asking, we're going to tell you. You are being given 1 month of household assistance. So 1 month of rent, 1 month utility, 1 month of your car payment. You are also, on top of that, going to be given a $250 Publix gift card that was donated by Publix, on top of a $100 Target gift card that was donated as well. So you can do a little bit of Christmas shopping. We did some of the shopping for you already, though. So inside of the
Thank you. Thank you. Oh,
inside of the bag. Sorry, guys. Thanks for bearing with me. We have these awesome military teddy bears that were donated to us by Miss Lauren Bergson from the Gold Star Family Foundation. And we have a couple other goodies in here from some of our corporate sponsors. So we like to spend most of our money on veterans. Therefore, we get everything we possibly can donated to us. But
thank
now,
you. I really
you don't have to worry
appreciate it.
about asking for help. We got you. We're taking care of you. We're going to help you out through the holidays.
Thank you. You had me tearing up. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really do.
You're welcome. And this is why it's important to take care of one another and to have each other's back. It is hard to ask for help, but you know, you would not have been nominated if they didn't think that you needed it and you deserved it.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So,
So beautiful.
Thank you.
Alana, and that's so true of all the veterans I'm sure that you work with, that they just have so much pride, and they know, like you said, we've got this, I can do this. Sometimes it takes people like you and Mike Durkee to kind of see through and say, you know what, Takia needs some help, and we're gonna do this for her. It happens often, doesn't it?
It does. I have a very tough love approach. I have a very tough love approach. All the paperwork that I have to review, I do it all, and I give feedback back to the veteran about, their finances, about the bills, about their expenses. And sometimes it hurts them a little more because it's someone from the outside looking in and they assume judging them. But I let them know, like, I'm giving you this feedback because I truly care about you. If I thought you were just a number, I would throw a check at your way and never think twice about you. That's not who we are. We truly care about you. We care about getting you back up on your feet. You need help to get you over this hurdle so that we can move you forward. And if you're not, if you don't have the education, if you don't know how to have a budget in place, if you just need help understanding your finances a little bit better, that is where we step in and just kind of give that advice so that we know that you can be financially stable and financially independent. Like I said, if we didn't care, we would just cut a check and send you on your way. But I provide this feedback because I truly care about you bettering your life, taking care of your kids. We have caretakers. A lot of spouses and parents are caretakers to the disabled veteran. So now they have to navigate taking care of their children, taking care of their disabled veteran, and figuring out how, who they are and how they're going to continue to try to, bring in more money for the family and everything. So again, you have that mindset of, I got this, I can handle this, I'm going to do it. But, let your sister help you. Let me help you through this so that you're not alone, so that you don't have to do this alone. I have a lot of veterans that reach out to me personally because I'm a veteran myself and I'm involved in so many other veterans groups and organizations. And they message me directly and they're just like, hey, what do I need to do? It took me forever to even muster up the courage to message you. Please don't tell anyone. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to just help you get through it. So,
Takia, how do you feel? How does it feel to be the recipient? What does this mean to you? What does it mean to your family? What is it going to do for you in the next couple of months?
it's very overwhelming because, like Alana said, I'm one of those people. If I don't have it, I just don't have it, and I'll wait till I do get it. So and I teach my boys that right now, mommy may not have it, but don't worry, I'm gonna get it. And I'm one of those people. I don't like to ask for help. So this was this was very shocking, and it was a big blessing, and I'm very appreciative.
Well, we are grateful to you, the hearts of a grateful nation with both of you. Alana, Takia, thanks so much for everything you do. Do you have any more presentations, Alana? I don't want to wrap unless does that wrap up your portion?
No, I cannot stress enough how much we need your help, your as the community, your help. If we don't have the funding we need to get us through the next year, we're going to have to say no to veterans. And that's the absolute last thing we want to do. We don't want to turn anyone away ever. And we absolutely need every dollar. If people could just donate $5 a piece, that would, that adds up. That adds up over the course of the amount of people we have in this county, the amount of people we have in this state. We service the entire state of Florida. Think of all those veterans that just need their lights turned back on, that need to get the eviction stopped so they can stay in their home, or they're just waiting for the paychecks to come in because they're just now starting to go back to work because of COVID. This money is so incredibly crucial, and anything you can spare, skip your coffee for tomorrow and, give us those $4 or $5. Every single penny that can be sent our way is so incredibly needed and so incredibly appreciated.
I want to bring back in Brian Edwards, Alana, with us. Takia, thanks so much for being with us. We wish you so much success moving forward with your little guys at home. Thank you for everything you've done for our nation. And Brian, why don't you take us to the phone lines? And we want to talk about our sponsors as well a little bit, because we do have some great companies that support this organization year in and year out.
Thank you, Shannon. 561-273-1144, ladies and gentlemen, for the Wounded Veteran Relief Fund Telethon. We need your help. That was an amazing presentation, Shannon, and it's a great example of what this organization does. We've been hearing it all day, and I think Alana just did a great job of stressing how important the need is. I know we got a few things to do as we wrap here, but ladies and gentlemen, we had a $50,000 matching grant, and we are doing everything in our power, thanks to Shannon Cake and WPTV, to recognize the hard work of the Wounded Veteran Relief Fund. We need your help. We're, I think, moving closer to about 20,000, Shannon, right now. I think that's where we are. So we want to thank those sponsors who stepped up for our telethon today. I'll turn that over to you, and then I'll go right into the to what we call the call to the heart.
Well, we just want to shout out to our amazing sponsors. These are companies right here in our community. Again, I mentioned at the top, this was an organization that started right here in South Florida and now has spanned the state because the need was so great to lift up veterans. But PNC Bank, a tried and true friend, Comcast, NBC Universal, Tire Kingdom, Pratt Whitney, Earl Stewart Toyota, and Galleria Farms. Just thank you so much for your continued support of Wounded Veterans Relief Fund. Again, I can't stress enough how impressive it is that this organization, 86% of every dollar that comes in goes right back out to veterans like Takia and so many others that we've profiled today and will be profiling throughout the early evening newscasts on WPTV News Channel 5, Brian.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Shannon. And thank you to our sponsors, and thank you for your service, Alana and Takia. We're going to bring up the call to the heart now, ladies and gentlemen. We want to emphasize that during our annual gala for the veterans, where we bring the veterans together and we do everything we can to raise money for this organization so they can do the work that you've been hearing about all day long. And certainly one example was just with Takia a moment ago. But here's when you go in and you go to the website, which I'll refer you to here. If you go to www.wvrf.org, You'll go to the website, you can go to the Call to the Heart, or you can do it via the telethon, which we'll bring to your attention in just a moment as well as we close. Look at these dollar amounts and what they do when they come to helping the Wounded Veteran Relief Fund help pay the rent and the mortgage costs for a veteran who's transitioning and having a difficult time, or paying the utilities, or an example of just paying a bill for someone that's having a difficult time, especially during this holiday season. But Shannon, we will take anything, right?
Yes, yes, yes. And we understand it. It's this is a very difficult season. So many businesses are struggling right now, and there's no exception for nonprofits that are really trying to piece this together. But we're in this together, and our veterans need us. None of us would be here living in this great country without them and their service and their sacrifice. You know, they step up and they sign on that line saying, I will stand up, I will defend this nation, even if I die. And we owe them a great debt. And it seems incredibly unfair to me that one of them would come home and not be able to keep their lights on. And so that's what we're doing here today. $5, $10, whatever you have that you can do right now. Again, we know that, you know, the numbers that we threw up on the screen a minute ago, the Call to the Heart, that's what we're hoping for, is what we're praying for. But we certainly understand if that's not in your reach right now, and if whatever you do have and you can do, we're asking you to step in, Brian.
Absolutely. Wounded Veteran Relief Funds, ladies and gentlemen, 561-273-1144, or you can text veteran to 72727. It's right on your screen there. And as we close, Shannon, and say goodbye and thank you for this live Facebook to both yourself and obviously WPTV. We want to make sure that we're asking people to go to the telethon. We're open, the phone lines till 8 o'clock, WPTV.com/wounded vets. And Shannon, I know you got to close out. And as we say goodbye, any final last words of wisdom for our amazing host from WPTV?
Well, Brian, thank you. And United Way of Palm Beach County is really blessed to have you. So is the Wounded Veterans Relief Fund year after year. It's an honor for me to stand on the stage at the gala each year. And I'm just in awe of you, my friend. So thank you for joining me here on this platform this afternoon. Channel 5 is so honored to be able to sponsor something like this. We're going to get some funds raised throughout our early evening news blocks. If you'll join us on the WPTV News Channel 5 side at 4 o'clock, 5:30, and 6 with Michael and Kelly, Jay and Hani. We're all in this together in the early evening news blocks on WPTV. So we hope you'll watch our coverage there. Arthur Mondale, one of our incredible superstar reporters, has put together incredible stories about these local veterans, what they've done for our nation. And speaking of that, Mr. Brian Edwards, thanks for your servant's heart, all you do for our community and what you've done for our nation as a Marine Corps vet. We thank you, sir. Thanks so much for your service.
Shannon. Thank you. And
Appreciate
goodbye
you.
to everybody. I'm headed for the telethon. Thank you again, Shannon.
All right. And to all of you joining us on this platform, have a great afternoon, everybody. We'll see you on WPTV News Channel 5. Good afternoon.